At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with Krueger every weekday morning at 6:30, or at this point, 6:31, 1 minute late. But it is your Thursday, September 25th forecast here for today. And we're going to start off with the radar because, indeed, the radar is picking up on a little bit of activity this morning. And you can see a sprinkle or two trying to make its way into parts of the valley. So if you're in the valley and you're on your way to work or whatever, and you run into a passing sprinkle, don't be surprised. You can also see between Redding and Bernie, look closely. Look very closely in the loop there, and you see, a little thunderstorm trying to develop, and then it just quickly dissipated. That's essentially what we've got, and you're going to notice the clouds this morning, which will make for a beautiful sunrise. I want you to take those pictures, by the way, and share them through the Free Weather NorCal app, and maybe we'll put them right here on Coffee with Krueger in the morning update. But there's a latest look at the radar, and you can see, a little bit of a sprinkle shower activity, even for parts of southern Humboldt County, working its way in. This has moved a little bit more to the west than anticipated. I was not expecting any sprinkles at all for the coast, but it looks like we are seeing a little bit of that here this morning. So if you're in Garberville, between Eureka and Garberville, maybe a passing sprinkle. Maybe you're on Shelter Cove, seeing a little bit of that shower activity as well. But that's really about it. This is nothing significant. A lot of this will all dissipate. The clouds will also start to dissipate. In fact, here's the bigger picture. There's the spin of low pressure. There were even some thunderstorms down to our south near Sacramento, lightning strikes, right? But that area of low pressure is now about as far north as it's going to go. So we're at the very north end of that flow, which is why we're seeing the clouds, which is why we're seeing some of those sprinkles and light showers. But as that low pressure shifts to the east as we speak through the day, we're going to start to see a lot of those clouds begin to dissipate. Hey, by the way, I want to remind you that October 4th, Saturday, October 4th. I don't know why I hesitated for so long, but I was trying to remember here. Saturday, October 4th. So not this Saturday, but a week from Saturday, October 4th, Manton Apple Festival. Now, as you may or may not know, I have been involved with Manton Apple Festival as a judge for the apple pie contest for as long as I've been here. Almost as long as I've been here. Last year was the exception to the rule because it was my mom's 80th birthday. I had to go. It was her, right? So I couldn't make it. So I had to break that little stride there. But I'm going to be there again. My wife is going to be one of the judges this year as well. They've got handmade crafts, apple products and pies, food vendors, live music all day. There's a reason why I like to be involved in this. It's a great festival, number one. It's one of the bigger ones of the year. You can have a great time. It's just they've got such great... it's just a wonderful festival, a Manton, and it supports the local community in that area. So October 4th, put it in your calendars between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. By the way, the apple baking contest, that is for 17 and under and adult judging at 10 a.m. So that's when I'm usually out there. I'm usually out there by about 9 in the morning, judging by 10 a.m., but pies must be dropped off by 9:30 in the morning. All right, so that's a look at the Manton Apple Festival. Take a look at this. I've been asking you to send those photos in, and some of you have been delivering, and I want to thank Steve Femmel for sending in this picture from a couple of days ago. The sunrise over Lassen from Old Shasta. Beautiful shot. By the way, you can share your photos from the Free Weather NorCal app. We'll go into that a little bit later. But let's get you into your Krueger's Quickcast. For those of you that are in a hurry, quick look at your forecast. You just want to know what to expect for today. Let's do it. All right, so first of all, we've got another spike in our temperatures, but not until tomorrow. Mainly dry through the weekend, and I say that because in our deeper dive, we'll talk about potential for showers maybe even as early as Sunday. Significantly cooler to start off next week, and really all of next week, really. And then we also have that rain returning by early next week for everybody. I think even the valley will see some rain. So temperatures right now, mainly in the mid-60s, give or take, just depending on where you are. A little breezy in some spots, and that's what's keeping those temperatures up for some of us in the valley. 41 for Alturas, 57 in Susanville, and mid-50s right now for the coast. Let's take a look at your out the door this morning forecast. And yeah, depending on where you are in the valley, I'd say somewhere in the mid-60s, again, give or take. Partly cloudy skies. We're seeing some clouds out there this morning. Even Trinity County, but Siskiyou, Modoc County, not as much. Eastern Mountains, yes, you're seeing the clouds. And some patchy fog for some of you along the coast this morning. So there's the area of low pressure spinning away, pumping in some of the clouds for some of us, but not everyone. Extreme Northern California, Siskiyou, Modoc County, Del Norte, even Northern Humboldt, all mainly clear skies here this morning. All right, so there's a look at Futurecast. There you can see some of the clouds this morning. And there could be a passing sprinkle in there. Then by midday, if we see any rain, most of it today should be in southeastern Plumas and maybe even parts of eastern Lassen County as well. And an off chance, by the way, for a thunderstorm. See, there it is through the afternoon. But then it quickly dives down to the south and east and things clear out. It dries out by 5 p.m. Still looking at clear skies even for the coast. But by late tonight, early tomorrow morning, we may see some patchy fog developing around the Eureka area, Humboldt Bay, into the Highway 101 corridor between Eureka and Garberville. But otherwise, mainly clear skies even for the coast tonight. So for today, pretty much a carbon copy of yesterday. Upper 80s, low 90s in the valley. For the inland areas and for Trinity County, actually cooler than it was yesterday. We're dropping down to the low 90s there. 80s for the most of the higher elevations, though, and mid to upper 60s for the coast today. Tonight, looks like it's going to be... I'm off. I don't think we're going to get quite down to 60. Well, here's the thing. We actually might. It depends on when the winds kick in. That's the key. So we could drop down to the low 60s, but then it will very quickly increase once the winds do begin to pick up, which we'll get into those winds here in just a second here. But for tonight, I do expect 40s for many of the higher elevations and low 50s for the coast. All right, let's go and take a look at our 7-day forecast. And there's that spike on Friday. That's the peak of the warming trend. And then temperatures start to drop over the weekend. But this is what you'll really notice. Upper 60s, low 70s for next week, at least for Monday through Wednesday. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that Monday, Tuesday is really the main event. We got 2 storms that'll be pushing through. The first one will push through on Monday. That's when I think we'll see the rain. The second storm will move through on Tuesday. Wednesday, some models keep it going on. In particular, the European forecast model. But I'd say Monday, Tuesday is the main event. Now, we could as early as Sunday for Modoc County and Lassen and Plumas counties in particular, as early as Sunday maybe see some showers. But again, the main event is Monday, Tuesday of next week. All right, let's take a look at your fire weather conditions out there, sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. And there you can see, look at the Dillon fire as of yesterday morning. No new numbers really to report here. The containment is still 90% as it was yesterday, but we may get a report this morning and that number may be higher, at least the containment number. Let's go ahead and take a look at the blue fire as of yesterday evening. Up to 83% containment, but still no acreage growth. That's good to see here. And the log fire, no new updates over the last 24 hours, so still at 97% containment. Now here's a pattern that I've noticed through this fire season, is that once we get into the 95 to 98% containment, even though we don't have that 100%, we tend to reach this point where there's not a lot of activity with the fire. They're still just kind of trying to get a handle on things and get most of that containment underway. But it can sometimes take several weeks for that to happen. But in that time, we tend to not get any new reports. And we may be kind of reaching that point in time here for the log fire. We'll see. Winds have picked up a little bit here, especially out towards the Willows area. That's why the temperatures are a little bit warmer to the south. Now today, wind's not a factor. I'm not concerned about the winds today, except a little breezy out towards the higher elevations. Now tomorrow morning, there it is. 8 a.m., you're waking up tomorrow morning, I think it's going to be quite breezy, quite gusty, 25 over 30 miles per hour. Now, typically, when we see winds of 20 miles per hour or so, we're like, all right, that's pretty standard around here. But when we get in that 25 to even over 30 mile per hour range, that's when we have to go, all right, we need to pay attention to this and we need to be aware of it because that'll continue through midday and then start to subside at least for Friday afternoon. Saturday, starting off, fairly calm winds. They'll pick up a little bit here for Saturday afternoon from the south at this point. But again, pretty standard, pretty typical for us. But a little elevated, right? So we look at the fire weather risk for today, mainly in the low to moderate. Although you can see kind of some of the foothills west of the valley, in particular into Tehama County. A little bit in that moderate to high range. And then for tomorrow morning, there it is. We're already by 8 a.m. Look at the humidity. We're already down into the upper teens. Moderate to even high with that fire weather risk. And then we're in the single digits. So we've got the combination of strong north winds. We saw those gusts possibly over 30 miles per hour. Temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, so it's hot enough. And it's dry enough because we're in the single digits in many cases. And really, even though we are seeing the wind subside on Friday, still that high fire danger through the afternoon on Friday. And then for Saturday morning, Saturday midday, we're inching into that moderate category by Saturday afternoon. But again, the wind's not as bad. Hey, by the way, today's Caffeinate for a Cause. I want you to check it out. Here's the thing. I'm going to be out there. We have got a special guest. We've got a new meteorologist that I'm training here at Weather NorCal, and they are going to be here today at the Caffeinate for a Cause event. If you want to meet them, even though you haven't seen them yet, but if you want to meet them for the first time, you can do that at Caffeinate for a Cause. Go to the Dutch Bros on South Market Street, across the street from Good News Rescue Mission. We'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. this afternoon. I would have done this 7 o'clock in the morning, but I've got coffee with Krueger. I've got a lot that I do in the morning, so it was harder to do the 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning shift. So we're doing the 2 to 4 p.m. shift. When a lot of you are probably getting your iced coffees and your iced drinks. It'll be warm out there. But we're also, remember, $1 from each drink goes to Turtle Bay. And we'll be out there with buckets where we are going to be accepting more donations. We want to raise as much money as we can for Turtle Bay. It is a great resource. We all know that. We've seen the great programs that they have. Think about this. They try to provide the most affordable programs for schools for educational purposes with their animals. There are a lot of schools here locally that take advantage of it, but also the North Coast, Southern Oregon, and even as far south as parts of the Bay Area take advantage of the program as well. So we want to do everything we can to help them out, and I hope you do too. So come on out to Dutch Bros, South Market Street, between 2 and 4 p.m. today. We'll be out there. Love to see you. Say hello. Meet our new meteorologist. And they will also have ambassador animals out there. If you're lucky enough that they're not going to be there the entire time, but hopefully while you're there, you will see the animals. Caffeinate for a Cause. Check it out. All right. Also, this is kind of interesting too. I have been nominated as a top 5 nominee for the North States Choice Awards. Best of the North State Choice Awards in the category of reporter columnist. It's quite an honor. I mean, because I've been in operation for, 2.5 years, and I'm super excited about it. Now, you're wondering, where can I go to vote? Well, let's see if we can put it in the comments. I'm going to go and see if I can do that in the comments right now. First, I got to get into my Facebook page. Here we go. Let's see here. Let's take it back to that. There we go. And there it is. All right. So I'm going to throw in the comments. Oh, thank you, Jackie. You say you voted yesterday. I certainly appreciate that. And I'm going to go over here. So you can see when you get to the page, there's 4 days and 17 hours to vote. But I'm going to go ahead and put that direct link in there for you. Copy it. Copy that. All right. And there's Jackie's comment. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here. There we go. And now all you have to do, now that you're watching this, you can just go in the comments of this and you can vote. And you can make Weather NorCal the best in the columnist reporter section. If this is something you've enjoyed, I would certainly appreciate your vote, because yeah, I mean, that's a huge honor. You know, we see that across many businesses, and it's a big deal. So I certainly appreciate that, and I appreciate those that even took the time to nominate me. All right, there you go. Just wanted to kind of throw that in there as well. All right, let's take a look at some of the cameras out there. This is Lake Oroville, North Forebay this morning. We got some of the clouds that we're seeing out there. And yeah, if we see a passing sprinkle today, this morning at least, don't be surprised. But overall, it's not going to be much, if anything. We take you out to Highway 99 at Neal Road. Again, some clouds out here this morning. Traffic is flowing as we would typically see it. And Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive in Reading. Again, some clouds to start off the day. It's still dark out there. It's taken some time for the sun to rise. But remember, it's not until November that we set those clocks back, by the way. So there you go. Bald Hill West. Let's take a look at some of the other cameras, too. Let me go ahead and get you back over to here. In fact, let's do this. Oop, I didn't do that. There we go. We'll go ahead and throw that in there. There we go. That's what it looks like in Elk Country north of Trinidad. Looks like it's a little foggy this morning. So there is some of that patchy fog for many of you this morning out along the coast. But I do think that that fog is going to quickly dissipate for many areas. Let's go and take a look at that in Crescent City this morning. That's what it looks like in Crescent City. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that fog. And it looks pretty dense too. So there is some fog to start off the morning along the coast. There you can see that light blinking off in the distance. Right, that might be a boat. I'm not sure. Let's see if that light moves. No, looks like it's the same spot. But you get the idea. We have low visibility out there this morning. Take that into account when you're out and about this morning on the coast. Let's take you back to Elk Country, north of Trinidad, and we're going to take a look at the Sundial Bridge to see if anybody's taking advantage of the beautiful morning out there. And yeah, I got a couple of people out there on the Sundial Bridge checking out the cool morning, and you can see some of the clouds out there. And again, you'll notice it's not a ton of clouds, right? The farther south you go, the more clouds. That's pretty much it. But there are some sprinkles out there where some of those clouds are as well. All right, let's take a look at some of the other cameras out there. We're going to get out of here. There we go. Get that up and running. Boom, there it is. And there's a good Bald Hill West. Some of the clouds out there as well. That's looking down at the community of Hoopa. All right, let's go ahead and take you out to Soda Ridge now, and we're seeing a few clouds. Now, the thing is, you start heading into Siskiyou County, you're going to see less cloud cover this morning. So there's a look at Soda Ridge. We're not looking at a lot of clouds. Taking a look at Fort Jones this morning. No fog. There you can see plenty of sunshine out there this morning. Just an absolutely gorgeous start to the day. Hey, today is Thursday. We have got our NorCal Ag Report sponsored by Lassen County Nursery, and it was at Chico Chico State. Gosh. Well, it's the morning. Chico State has an ag program, and Jerry O'Lennon went out there to learn more about it. So let's check it out.
I'm Jerry O'Lennon with Weather NorCal, and this is the Ag Report sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. This week, I am at the Chico State University Farm where new students arrived for the upcoming semester. I am with Denise Crosswhite. She is an advisor with the Chico State College of Agriculture. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for being here. We're really excited. Today's a great day.
Why is it a great day? What's happening today?
So today is our program called Activate. So Activate is an opportunity to welcome all new students in the College of Agriculture. And so we have about 270 new students, and we expect about 230 of them to participate in this event today.
What is the total amount of students, not just newcomers, but the ones who've been here in previous years?
Yeah, so we have about 980 students in the College of Ag, and of those, we have about 65 of our current students who have volunteered all day yesterday and then all day today to welcome the new students.
What do people need to know about the Chico State Agricultural Department? Because it's off campus, so some people don't even know it exists. What do people need to know about this?
Yeah, so it is a little well-kept secret among those in the ag community. We're one of 4 CSUs that have an ag program, and one of the things that sets us apart is we have so many hands-on opportunities for our students to envision what their future looks like in agriculture, whether it's agricultural business, agricultural education, plant and soil science, regenerative ag. We have a new option in regenerative agriculture. And so we're really excited about all the opportunities. And today the students will get an opportunity to meet fellow students, new students, and be able to walk into class on Monday and know somebody. They'll also have an opportunity to sit down with their faculty this afternoon and learn from them what they're looking for, what research opportunities exist, since we don't have a graduate program, most of our focus is on undergrads, and so our undergrads are working at the dairy, they are working in the meats lab, they're working all over the farm and getting a hands-on experience.
There's nothing like a hands-on experience in any field, and it sounds like Chico State does a tremendous job with it.
We do. We have amazing faculty, staff, and farm managers who really bring students into the experience and let them see what their future is going to be like.
I want to thank you so much for being with us, and good luck on the next school year.
Thank you. We're excited about it.
And
Well, definitely interesting to learn more about that program at Chico State. Definitely quite a program. Looks like they have out there. Hands-on is always the best way to go. I want to thank Jerry O'Lennon for submitting that report. Also want to thank Lassen Canyon University for their support of NorCal Ag Report and Weather NorCal in general. So without the support of our sponsors, that really we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing here at Weather NorCal. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here. First of all, we want to mention our sponsor for Coffee with Krueger. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Once again, I want to thank Wind River that is, for their support. Take a look at this picture here. This was sent in by Steve Femmel. This is a couple of days ago, the sunrise over Lassen from Old Shasta. Beautiful sunrise photo there. I want you to share your photos as well. He sent it through the free Weather NorCal app, and you can do the same from your iPhone or your Android device. And all you have to do is scroll to the very bottom. As long as it has access to your photo library, you can share your photos. You can see them right here on Coffee with Krueger, and also sometimes on the morning update as well. All right, here is a look at your deep dive forecast for your Thursday, September 25th. Let's get into it and talk about what's going on here. And it's really next week that we've got a lot to talk about here. But otherwise, temperatures varying anywhere from 61 in Redding all the way up to 70 degrees in Oroville. Just depends on where those winds are blowing a little bit here. And also the cloud cover. There's a bit more cloud cover to the south, and that's also what's helping to keep those temperatures up a little bit here, preventing some of that, what we call the radiational cooling. When you've got clouds over us, we can't really see that warmer air escape. But when we do have the clear skies, any heat that we see during the day, overnight, that heat is allowed to escape. So those clouds act like a blanket, and that's why it's a little bit warmer to the south. Otherwise, we're looking at 40s and 50s for the higher elevations and mid-50s out along the coast, and some of that patchy fog. I want to show that radar again because early this morning, you can see some of the activity that we are seeing. Now, you'll notice the movement of this as we take a look at the last 6 hours. See how it kind of moves like this. What's happening is there's an area of low pressure down to our south, and that is what's helping to draw in some of these clouds and some of the showers. If you look closely here between Redding and Bernie, there's a little thunderstorm that tried to develop here. It looks like some heavier rainfall along Highway 299 there, at least close to it. But for the most part, things have pretty much are still fairly dry. But you can see east of Redding, looks like around Palisadro, for example, there may be a sprinkle, a light shower there. Also, west of I-5 here, around Susanville, maybe some light showers as well, especially to the north here. And again, this is all kind of moving around the area of low pressure. Now, as that low pressure moves to the east, which you can see right here, we're at the very northern end of that flow. It's the counterclockwise spin around that area of low pressure that's moving it into Northern California. However, places like Siskiyou County, Modoc County, you're not even seeing any of the cloud cover out of it. So this is kind of that sharp cutoff edge here, and that will eventually shift to the east, southeast, and as it does that, any chances for rain are pretty much diminishing, and the clouds will start to dissipate as well. You'll see that on Futurecast this morning. As we take you into midday, you see the spin with that low pressure, right? So there may be a shower or two through the morning into midday for parts of southeastern Lassen and into Plumas counties as well. But otherwise dry for everyone else. There still may be a little bit of cloud cover out towards places like Chico and Willows down to the south. But as we go into the afternoon, evening, most of that cloud cover is gone, including the eastern mountains like Plumas and Lassen counties. Still looking at clear skies here for the coast. Now tomorrow morning there may be some areas of fog around Eureka, but otherwise you're looking at mainly clear skies here for tomorrow morning even, and tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. So tomorrow afternoon, all all clear here for the coast. But then as we go into Friday night, Saturday morning, we start to see that fog bank return. So we're probably looking at more in the way of low clouds and some fog through the day on Saturday, at least the mostly cloudy skies. And then there you can see a few clouds trying to develop here off to the east. Now, I'm not terribly concerned about this actually materializing, but there may be a stray shower or a thunderstorm, especially extreme east. But what this is also telling me is we may be setting the stage up for that potential for Sunday around places like Modoc, Lassen, and Plumas counties. Otherwise, the main event with any rainfall will be Thursday. And you'll see that here in Futurecast. And I'm going to start it with this morning. As you can see, that area of low pressure, as it dives down to the south and east, it brings the rain and the clouds along with it. But what I've got my eyes on by next week is this. So this has got some cooler air associated with it. That's going to help allow our temperatures to drop a bit. But there are two main cold fronts that I'm looking at. This one right here, that'll be here by Monday, and this will be developing and getting stronger as we go into Tuesday. So there's Monday's rain coming in, right? And really, it looks like it may take a while to get here, but Monday is the day. And then this one is going to move in, and it's really going to start to kind of gain some energy. And I do think it may pack a bigger punch in the form of heavier rainfall, maybe some thunderstorms, and even some gusty winds associated with it. And then, depending on which model you look at, European forecast model a little bit more aggressive with a chance for more showers on Wednesday. So I'm keeping the chance for rain on Wednesday, but overall, I think the main event will be Monday, Tuesday. This doesn't look very promising because it looks like as high pressure builds in advance of this, that'll break this storm system apart and divert a lot of that energy to our north. So it's mainly just going to be Monday, Tuesday of next week that I think we'll see the bulk of that rain with wetter than normal conditions as predicted by the Climate Prediction Center. But there it is. We have high pressure building in here for tomorrow. One last little spike in our temperatures tomorrow, close to 100 degrees, but mainly mid to upper 90s in the valley and 80s and 90s for the higher elevations. That will then break up. We've got this colder air. You see how it's just approaching through the weekend. So temperatures will start to drop for Saturday and Sunday, but you'll really notice the drop, especially Monday. Tuesday, the peak of the cooling trend, and then that cooler air starts to migrate to the north and east, and any energy is going to mainly push through the Pacific Northwest, and I think we'll dodge that rain that you did see. That could be, looks like it's trying to move in by late next week, but for right now, it looks like it should remain dry after Tuesday or Wednesday. But look at the temperatures. Again, that spike on Friday, temperatures dropping, upper 60s, low 70s for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then temperatures start to kind of creep back up after that, but staying below normal. So could Friday be our last spike in the temperatures? Maybe, maybe not. I am seeing down the line maybe another little mini heat wave pushing through, but that's a long way out, and I don't even want to begin to set that in stone, but something I'm watching. Lake levels are still above that historical average, which is exactly where we want to be, right? But there you can see those wave heights still fairly high for today. They will start to retreat on Saturday, but overall, I am expecting probably that small craft advisory. Now, the marine forecast, the winds, the waves, not that bad this morning. These numbers that you see here will be late this morning into the early afternoon hours. So winds from the northwest at 15 to 20 knots. Your waves from the northwest at 8 feet at 10 seconds. And there you can see that small craft advisory later today through even into the evening hours. So here is look at your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We take a look at Trinity County. So here's what I'm going to say when you're looking at the 7-day forecast for each region. Monday, Tuesday, that's the main event. Wednesday is there with rain just for the sake of still ironing out the timing of all this. All right, so that's what we're looking at here. So again, I think at this point, the main event will be Monday, Tuesday, and then anything surrounding that, those chances are pretty slim. There's a look at your temperatures for today, 85 in Forest Glen and 87 degrees for Ruth. Let's take a look at your Dignity Health North Coast neighborhood forecast, 83 for Miranda, 85 in Garberville, and 76 degrees in Redcrest. All right, we take you up to the north. There you can see out towards Ferndale, 65, 67 out in Fortuna, and 67 degrees in Rio Dell. 70 degrees out in Blue Lake, 93 for Willow Creek. Temperatures are a little bit cooler, especially for the inland areas from what we we saw yesterday. So we are seeing that downward trend before going back up again tomorrow. 82 degrees out towards Gas Key and 67 degrees in Orick. Let's take a look at your Dignity Health Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures upper 80s to about 90 for that daytime high for Highway 96 and mid 80s for those daytime highs for the I-5 corridor. Scott Valley 85 for Etna, 84 in Callahan. There's that chance for rain come Monday and Tuesday. Central, Eastern Siskiyou County. We've got 80 degrees for Tennant, 83 for Weed, and 83 degrees for Tule Lake. Let's take you out to Modoc County, where we got about 84 degrees for Alturas, 83 for Newell, and 81 degrees in Ayden. All right, let's take a look at those eastern mountains here. 85 degrees for Montgomery Creek, 82 for Hat Creek, 84 in Paynes Creek. And your Dignity Health, not there yet. Getting ahead of myself here. There's a look at Lake Elminor. There you can see, of course, Chester, looking at those temperatures in the 70s and 80s. We take you down to the south, Paradise. Don't mind the dog. You hear that dog faintly barking? That's my neighbor's dog. I love my dog. I don't like it when they bark, though, especially when I'm doing weather live. Paradise, 82 degrees. Susanville, about 85 for your daytime high today, and 75 degrees in Janesville. All right, now your Dignity Health Valley neighborhood forecast of the south. Temperatures upper 80s, much like yesterday for the south end of the valley. And looking at your 7-day forecast for Chico, we got that spike in the temperatures on Friday. Temperatures dropping, though, through the weekend, and especially for next week. We take you up to the north, where temperatures are going to be in the mid-90s, even some upper 90s for your daytime highs. Excuse me, that's tomorrow. Got ahead of myself again. But those temperatures for today, generally in the low 90s. Again, much like yesterday, 92 degrees for Palo Cedro, 91 degrees out in Whiskeytown. All right, here's your 7-day forecast for Redding. There's your 7-day forecast. Temperatures are around the upper 90s by Friday. Saturday, about 93, 81 on Sunday. And it looks like we are going to be looking at more wet weather by Monday, Tuesday. As I mentioned, I think the main event will be Monday, Tuesday of next week. Wednesday, just kind of in there, because the European forecast model still wants to kind of just give us some lingering moisture, lingering instability, where you can see a stray sprinkle or a light shower on Wednesday. So I'm going to keep that in there. Timing, overall intensity, I think the heavier rainfall will be Tuesday, but still some decent rain even coming in on Monday. I'm not going to give you any, I hate going into rainfall totals this early on in the game, but maybe we'll start kind of looking into that here in the next couple of days. In the meantime, that's going to do it for us this morning. Let's see what's going on with the calendar. I didn't actually update the calendar. Close. Let's go ahead and refresh it for the 25th. That's today. All right, what do we have going on today? National Open the Magic Day. Well, that's fun. What is that all about? Every year on September 25th, teachers and parents worldwide read a picture book, or many, to celebrate National Open the Magic Day. This National Day celebrates Read Aloud's picture books, the love of reading and student. Oh, that's fun. How fun is that? That's pretty cool. Maybe think about reading a book to a kid today. National Daughter's Day. Well, if you have a daughter, now's the day to celebrate. When it comes to Offspring, National Daughter's Day on September 25th reminds us of the young women and girls in our lives. Today, spend time with your daughter or someone you think of as a daughter. We all have those, right? National Quesadilla Day. Instead of Taco Day, how about National Quesadilla Day? Who doesn't love a good quesadilla? Encourage you to pull a chair up to the table and eat some authentic Mexican food. While it's not a sandwich or a taco, the quesadilla satisfies snack cravings while also completing a meal. Yes, quesadillas. Ooh, there you go. Look at that, National Lobster Day. National Lobster Day honors a taste of seafood favorite, the lobster. Whether you like it naked, dipped in butter, or love it in your soup, lobster is a seafood delicacy to be enjoyed by all. Always love a good lobster, although it's not cheap, is it? That's the bottom line. All right, well, let's leave with some cameras out there this morning. See what's going on out there. It looks like we have some beautiful shots right now of Soda Ridge. That's what it looks like there this morning. I'm going to leave you with that and a little bit of jazzy music. In the meantime, have yourselves a great rest of your day. We'll see you for your Friday edition of Coffee with Krueger tomorrow. Have a great day.